today we will be diving into a really interesting topic, stablecoin DApp. Now, if you're like me, this might sound a little intimidating at first, but don't worry. We're gonna break it down step by step, and it'll be easy to follow. So we have with us here Upendra and Robert, who will be walking us through this topic together, and I'll be jumping in along with a few questions so that we can learn together. Welcome, Upendra, Robert. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Kite, for inviting me here. And we have a very good topic here, stable coins. Before I start, I would like Robert, if he want to say something, few words.
Oh, well, mostly, of course, that I'm excited to start working on a finally first private stablecoin. I haven't seen any examples yet out there beyond the existing, let's say, stablecoins that have gathered all the attention as a gateway for all the crypto and DeFi applications out there. And that's exactly what COTI enables. Private transactions, giving back a piece of privacy to users who want to use these stable coins to get into DeFi or to build their own applications and use them. So excited. Yeah.
Okay, so
Of course, there's way more to
that
talk about stablecoins, so we can get into that during the cast, of course. Yeah.
so like as Robert says, it's really exciting to have a private stable coin, and it has so many use case. We're gonna be learn a lot about that in this live stream. And now let me tell you guys what I'm gonna be covering here. I'll start with the stable coin. So it's a digital asset designed, it's kind of designed to make stable value, as from the name. So these values are packed with fiat like USD, or sometime it's packed with other cryptocurrencies, but mainly the most of the market cap is covered with the uh, stable coins which are packed with USD. They basically what they do, they bridge traditional finance and crypto by combining stability with decentralization. So what the problem with the decentralized system is, uh, the fluctuation of the price. So if you want to use digital currency, as we call it, or we call it cryptocurrency, how we can use that if we don't rely on their prices, bitcoin prices, even the most liquid currency and the most stable cryptocurrency, let's suppose Bitcoin and Ethereum, their price got pump and dump for about 10% a day. Sometimes it
Mhm.
happens, and if someone wants to use it as a currency, how they can predict how much they can buy from it for, let's suppose, day to day use things, or if someone wants to, or if some student wants to plan to buy an iPhone, how can they predict their saving if they don't know how the fluctuation going to be in the future? So that was a problem with the stable cryptocurrency or web3 world, and people used to use fiat for that, to buy something, and to bridge the gap between that. uh,
Mm.
Here comes the stable coin. So basically, it's a ERC20 contract or a ERC20 token, but all the tokens going to be mint is packed with the stable currency. Let's suppose USD or Euro, or sometimes packed with the cryptocurrency or commodities. But as I said, the most of them are packed with the USD. So we'll
USD.
be, yeah, we will be going to talk about that, how we can create our stable coin, and what all are their feature. If they're simple, they're not that simple like a simple ERC20 token, so anyone can create, but that's not the main part. The main part is how we peg it with the, and how we make these prices stable. So we're going to be discussing that in this live stream, and in this live stream also talking about the types of the uh, these stable coins, how they are different from each other. Also, we'll talk about the most used stable coins and what are the major differences between them. Also, will we compare the private stable coin with the normal stable coin here, and we'll see how we can create it. We're gonna be checking the smart contract of different stable coin currently running in the market, and how we can learn from them, and how can create our own stable coin, and how are the feature of this private stable coin gonna be look like. So we're going to cover all these. Let me just open the presentation here, guys. So as I said, the stable coin are bridge between traditional financial system and stable, combining it with the stability. So as I already told you guys why this is really important, and now let's move on how we are dealing with this problem.
Yeah, and
So
it's actually it's not only just the consumer; it's primarily the business who has this problem. If you want to use any service which is built on a decentralized infrastructure and it is a token required, you don't have any uh, predictability, so you can't budget for it, and your accountant can't budget for it. uh, it's I mean, in everyday life, if you run a business, or then imagine you have to work with different currencies. I mean, your bookkeepers and accountants, they simply don't like it because it's a lot of extra work, let's say. And you have the same with using tokens for any services as a business you would require. And then on top of that, there's the swapping costs through different currencies. So for internationally operating businesses, it makes a lot of sense to switch to a stable coin, which is the same on one continent as on the other continent, directly for payments, without the need to wait times with banks, for instance, or other intermediaries, or to have to switch to another currency which is nationally controlled, but in this case, also digitally available. So there's a quite a lot of attention going into it, and you see countries now also optimizing for the facilitation of these stablecoin issuers, like with MiCA regulation in the EU, and the US also stepping up to, for instance, pull in Tether and Circle to make them help them legitimize.
yeah, like there are so many regulations coming on. I heard about the Genius Act and all. Uh, I think they are, they are regarding the stable coin. And let's move on the benefits of stablecoin. If we are talking about the benefits, so here are the benefits. First and the most important benefits is stability. So all other cryptocurrencies or crypto tokens and their price are kind of fluctuating all the time. So we need a base token if we talk about the Web3 world. Talking about the normal Web2 world, fiat currencies are working fine, but if we all want, uh, the slow, we want to, reduce the burden on the bank, the slow system of bank and inter border communication between the bank and the avoid the fees between transactions happening between borders in the bank system. We need to have all that system on the Web3, but that was facing the problem due to the stability we already discussed about. So the most important benefit is stability. So second thing is DeFi and trading. Let's suppose you are a trader or you are an investor in the cryptocurrency. You have invested in the Bitcoin or Ethereum or any crypto token. You gonna make a position for your investment, and let's suppose every time you want to make a position, you are going to buy it using your fiat. So every time you are making transaction from your bank on the exchanges, uh, let's suppose decentralized or centralized exchanges on the Binance, so they are going to be interaction between the banks and your centralized exchanges, and user maybe not want that. Like maybe they want to fix a amount of money, let's suppose US dollar. uh, they want to put it for the investment in their Web3 wallets. They don't want to make transaction several times with their banks, and that was not possible because non-stable currencies, let's suppose other tokens, and let's suppose Bitcoin, if they close their position, still their position is on. Let's suppose they close all their token position and convert it into Bitcoin, still they are facing the volatility. So that was really difficult for a user to deal in the DeFi and trading. So here stablecoin gives you the option, whenever you want to trade or make investment you can, and if you want to sit down for a while due to the market, you can convert it into the stablecoin, and now the price is stable. So this is the biggest benefit. And say
It's and on top of this, especially for the traders, it's also speed. Imagine having to make a manual transaction from your bank
yeah.
or wherever you have your money stored, fiat, directly towards your centralized exchange, for instance. You still have to swap it. In that case, it makes up for it by having a USD or other currency stablecoin reserve directly available to have it triggered and to have it act upon your set requirements, or on your decentralized exchange, which is on chain. So there's no way to directly interact without something of a front end, unless you have stable coins already available for to deploy, let's say. So it provides agility, let's say, for the trader and the DeFi investor.
Yeah, and as we can also like see, there's also a very important part, maybe not for everyone, for the but think about the countries where the currencies are fluctuate a lot, so it can also provide the hedge. Like their currencies are inflating continuously, they can convert their currency into the stable coin for safety of the inflation on their money. So this can also be a hedge for them. Talk about the remittance and payments. Now if a person is working in another country, to transfer their money to their native country, they need to pay empty amount of transaction cost. That is not gonna be in the case of a stable coin. Talking about the financial inclusion, so there are gonna be so many countries, or let's suppose underdeveloped countries, underdeveloped areas where the financial system is not available right now, but they can, if they have internet, they can use the banking system using this stable coin. So this is also the case. And also as we definitely talk about the DeFi ecosystem, liquidity is also a very important part. So anyone can have a token which has an empty amount of liquidity with that, to which can be used in the DeFi ecosystem. So these are the major benefits of the stable coin.
Yeah, there's an element of risk aversion to it, like choosing for the stability. There's also DeFi products which accept stable coins, for instance, for staking or similar. So you can play with it as well. You can earn interest on it. You can use it for lending protocols without having to go into another token, which exposes you to the risk of its fluctuations. Now, what I don't know if that's your next slide, but there's of course also the downside would be that you would expose yourself to the risks of the currency that you're actually representing with the stablecoin. So in this case of, well, the examples mentioned USDT or USDC, mostly United States dollars. So if they fluctuate and they go down versus other currencies or other assets you want to trade with, then you're exposed to that, of course. But that's of course a question of how much trust you have in the institutes and the systems protecting that.
Yeah, and if we talk about Robert, if we talk about the stability, I think we all know, like there's no absolute stability in any currency. Be if we talk about the fiat too, like US dollar, it's also have some inflation. But with the crypto like Bitcoin and Ethereum, that inflation and that volatility can be seen from the naked eye. Like anyone can wake up tomorrow and see, like now with the amount of Bitcoin he was buying a dozen of bananas, now he can only afford a half dozen of that. So that that's a problem with the skill that's the problem it's solving here. Some current countries also facing that, like their currencies are so volatile sometimes in the situation of some emergency they cannot afford that. But uh, that's that happened with the fiat. Like these currencies got stable over the period of time, and to have a proper stable currency in the web3 ecosystem, uh, we gonna have absolute decentralized currency on the web3 ecosystem, but it will also take time. As we have seen, like Luma tried that and it got collapsed. So these algorithm backed stable currencies, they are trying, and but the ecosystem is not grown that much. I say they're gonna be in the future. Some currencies come, they don't need to packed with any, any fiat currencies and all, and still running with a stable price. There are some algorithm they are trying. Still, the market cap covered by, as our this slide says, the most of the market cap currently covered by USDT. I think it's 70%. USDC, which is also a fiat backed stable coin, is cover approximately 10%. And then there is a DAI. It's a decentralized stable coin. It is using cryptocurrencies to back it, like the Bitcoin and Ethereum and the major cryptocurrencies, and some amount of USDT too. But this this stable coin is, the DAI is governed by a DAO, which is called Maker DAO. So there's no central authority which is managing it, and on the smart contract we can clearly see the amount is packed there. I think there is a website where you can also go and check like the amount of DAI currently running the market and the pegged amount of assets with that, because it's a DAO, anyone can go and check it. So DAI is a great decentralized stable coin.
Just quick
Let
question, Upendra. Sorry, I'm just a little confused. Like, how do stable coin stay stable? Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a really important question, I guess. And so talking about, there are several kind of stable coin,
Mm.
and let me directly just move on the slide which explains it.
Mm.
So
Okay.
here are the, here are four type of stable coin. And the type, if we say how we differentiate between them, so how they are making their prices stable. So first type is stable centralized, which is fiat backed. So what happens here, whenever they're going to mint a token, like they are minting one USDT, they going to lock the similar amount of fiat currency in their account, in some bank account. So this is not always a stable or fiat currency, USDT. It can be a combination of currencies and commodities, let's say some amount of USDT, some amount of euro, to have a bucket full of currencies there. So like to prevent it with some future uh, problems. And also they, if they are not adding current fiat currencies, they are adding government securities or bonds. So this is the first type, we call it backed by traditional asset, like fiat currency and in a bank account. So these are the most common type. Let me, if I open the coin market cap website. Okay,
So does that mean fiat-backed centralized is kind of related to RWA?
not exactly. There are some stable coins coming which they are trying to back them with the RWA, and these are mostly decentralized one. Let's suppose DAI is trying to back with the RWA, because
Mm,
RW is a kind of asset on the Web3. So it we can compare it with the ERC20 token or NFTs. Similarly,
mm.
they are going to be RWA asset on the chain, so you can easily go and monitor that. So this can come in the category of decentralized stablecoin.
My my impression would be that if the overlap in factors in characteristics would be that if you look at RWAs and you look at stablecoins, both represent a certain type of asset. As in the case for RWA, often it's like real estate or art or other tangible things in the real world. But they are classified as an asset, and there's regulation about them. For stablecoins representing an actual existing currency, there's also regulations about that. And with the Genius Act, there's new forms of oversight created specifically for that as well.
Okay.
So they match in terms of compliance, as in it's different rules, different regulations, different oversight, but there are rules for them, which also requires, if you have a centrally organized and hosted stablecoin, or sorry, hosted not, centrally monitored and controlled stablecoin, like Circle has with USDC, for instance, you are required to comply with regulations about that. And for instance, now one of the regulations is you have to provide a report about your reserves to show that you actually have collateral, that you have the backing for it, to be transparent about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more legitimate compared to other kind of tokens.
In terms of legitimized by governments, yes.
Okay.
If you look at decentralization maximalists, they would say it's legitimate if it's fully on chain. So there's different camps there, let's say. But to interact with the current world, you would need to be compliant, and you would need to make sure you fit in the model.
I see.
Okay, so as you can see on the coin market cap, it shows the market capitalization of different US stable coins. And if we try to compare here, the most part of the market cap of the stable coin is taken by the Ether, so Tether USDT, and then comes the USDC. Both of them are a centralized stable coin. Basically, they are maintaining the pegged assets which they are maintaining in a bank account, and one central authority is handling that. So these are centralized. And if we come down, talking about the decentralized stable coin, DAI comes at the fourth number, and the amount is very less. So I guess 90% of the market cap is handled by the this fiat currencies, fiat backed centralized stable coin. And if we go back to our presentation, if it's visible or not, okay, let me.
Right now, we're looking at the list of stablecoins. And what's interesting to note for those looking at it as well is that stablecoins are not limited to one specific chain. So Circle can issue its USDC or Tether can issue its USDT, for instance, on Ethereum as a network, and in that case also on its layer 2s specifically, but also on Tron, for instance, or on what else we got in this list. There's I see Ripple USD, for instance. There's they choose where it makes sense for them as well financially to launch, to support their own version on that chain for other DeFi projects to use it and to make money from it.
Yeah, if we open the Tether, you can see from here the amount of, like, the list of the chains they are deployed their stable coin. So USDT currently available on Ethereum, Binance, Solana, Algorand. It's a huge list, I think, on all the major chains. And This is
Okay,
also
so
the,
it's the price is very close to US dollars.
yeah.
It's
So
almost 1 to 1.
That's the promise. The
that,
promise by the backing.
Okay.
similarly about the USDC, if you check, like they also support all the chain right now. And if we try to see our decentralized one, like let's say like how many chains it supports now. So it also supports major chains
Mm,
like Binance and Phantom, Polygon. So not that much, because you also need to implement a mechanism of managing the assets, the pegged asset also on the chain. So but still it supports so many chains which is currently like available in the market. I Yeah, it's also have Solana. I thought like it's only supports the EVM one. And
mhm,
also these let's say you can go and check the uh, contracts like USDT. If you go on the USDT contract on the Etherscan on the Ethereum, you can see the market capitalization held here.
mm.
So you can see on the Ethereum it holds 86 billion
86 billion.
dollar
Mm.
market cap. So that also clearly shows, but total USDT market cap is more than 86 billion. It's like 168 billion.
180.
So
Yeah,
half of
180.
that is on the Ethereum chain. So that's the case. Like Ethereum is leading there. Uh, Half of all the market capitalization of all these, I think, if we check for the USDC, currently says 72 billion.
Mm.
And if we, okay, let me check. Yeah, currently supply, yeah, 72 billion. And if we check USDC on the Ethereum, it has market capitalization of 48 billion, so more than half on the Ethereum chain. And I think half is distributed in over other chains. So these are some major stable coins. And why I'm showing this you guys, because like the most of the market capitalization are on these three or four coins, so that we
Mm.
can have a brief different discussion on how they all are different with each other. So if we move to our presentation, we were talking about these like backing mechanism about these major stable coins. If we talk about the USDT, USDC, and DAI, so the major difference between them is USDC and USDT both are backed by reserve, which is like fiat and traditional currencies. The reserve they are maintaining, maybe the difference between them, like because the market cap of USDC is lower than approximately half than the USDT, but also how they manage it, and how we can believe, like if I'm having or I'm purchasing a USDT or USDC or DAI, which one should I purchase, and how I can believe like if they are holding that currency or not. Like if they can come, because this is a central authority, they can come and mint uh, some ERC USDC token through the contract and say like, yeah, we have packed it, we have added the similar amount of currencies or assets in our account, but and this is our new chunk of USDT we are launching on the Ethereum or any chain. So this can be like, if you're talking about the how we gonna be believe that. So USDT was fined for that. Like these stable coins got audited from regulatory authorities time by time. Differentiation between USDT and USDC is like USDC do audits and try to make the transparency, try to showcase their reports every month, and their audits are uh, kind of more regulated they show every month report, but there have been some issues with the USDT, and they got be also penalized for that. But still they are they maintained their value, and they was able to showcase like, yeah, we are pegged. But talking about the USDT and USDC, like it is common discussion in the market, like USDC is more stable or more secure, we say. Now if you talk about the DAI, it wins the race here because it's on the chain. And you can ask like if they are pegged with the cryptocurrencies, because if we need to create a stable coin which is on the chain completely decentralized, we cannot peg with the normal US dollar or the fiat currencies. We need to have a currency on the chain, or we need to use the asset which are on the chain. And the assets on the chain are Bitcoin and Ethereum, and still they are so volatile. If we are pegging it with a volatile currency, how they can maintain the stability of the price? And if we try to see the you know see the chart of the DAI, it's been volatile in the starting, and it started being stable. We can see from 2022, but in starting's been volatile. It was like you can see like it's a dollar point 9 cents, so not much as shown in the graph. We can don't afraid about that. The highest point goes to like $1.09, so that was not huge difference. uh, but now it's kind of stabilizing, and from last 4 to 5 months the price remains stable. And now if you talk about how they are able to maintain this stability, so they are over collateralized. How their system works, they need to, if a person wants, anyone can go and create the DAI stable coin. They can go and create a new lot of that. Like if there is a 1 billion token right now in the market, they can come and they want like $1,000 more or 1,000 DAI more, they want to create one. They can go on the DAO. This is a decentralized autonomous organization maintained by Maker DAO. They can go and ask on the contract. For that, they need to peg their, or they need to submit their uh, cryptocurrencies, and it going to be over collateralized. Like if you want to create 1,000 DAI stable coin, you need to peg 11,000, like 11K amount, or uh, like 50% more, 10% more, 20% more. It depends on the algorithm currently running at that time, according to the volatility in the market. But these algos on the smart contracts, they define like if you want to create $1,000 of DAI, you have to pay extra. So how this kind of going to manage the stability of the price? Now the ecosystem don't need to be bothered about the small fluctuation of the price of these currencies,
Hi,
because
Carlo. Hi, Henry. Thank you for your comments.
yeah, because they are kind of, they don't need to be think it about a like a trade we take. Like if we going to trade a cryptocurrency or any we want to take any position in any market, and we want to use the leverage. Like we want to take, it's kind of very different example, don't it's not fitting completely complete here. But if we try to think like if we go to the trading system and we ask like I'm giving $100 and I want to take the position on the Bitcoin of 10x size. Why they are able to give you, like why Binance is able to give you this amount of margin, like you are making the position of 1,000 US dollar? It's just because they know on their system you have added $100, and they are monitoring the fluctuation of the price of the Bitcoin. And they know like if the size, or if you start losing, uh, they gonna cut your position after the 10% of drop. So they can handle that. So that's why they are they can provide you collateral. Similarly, if MakerDAO wants to, stabilize the price of this USDT, like 1,000 USDT, you want to, not USDT, 1,000 DAI, if you want to create, uh, what they're gonna ask you, put 10% or 20% more. So when there are going to be huge fluctuation in the market, let's suppose you added Bitcoin, they will ask a major cryptocurrencies basically, and they have taken 50% over collateralization from you. So how they gonna be manage it? Like if the price start fluctuating and dropping dramatically, they gonna cut your position, or they gonna, liquidate this position after, when the price comes closer to the $1,000. So that's how this decentralized stable coin can be created. This is the whole idea behind it. Okay.
Yeah. So to add to that, it's you see fluctuations sometimes, and it's not because there's no collateral. It's because of a lack of trust. For instance, an example would be for those who saw it after the stablecoin issued by Luna, UST, uh, dropped and was liquidated out of the market because there wasn't enough collateral to keep the market afloat. You saw a similar run in other stable coins because people were afraid that they also might lose a peg, uh, even though they were different in setup, different algorithms, different kind of backing. And that's why you see a little dip, for instance, in USDT Tether around the same time in, I think it was 2022, 23, with Luna. Um, and they can handle that because they have enough backing to just compensate the market to keep the price at a certain level. And the same for DAI, which is over collateralized, so they can take a longer stint of people trying to sell quickly for a lower price just to get out of the market, and that's okay because they projected and budgeted for that. So
Yeah, and that also happens with the fiat. If there is a, a huge some news in the market, people are, worried. The fiat currencies price also start, fluctuating with, if we go to the check the market of, this forex, we can check like, the currency start fluctuating with respect to other currencies, other fiat currencies of different countries. So it it happens because it's kind of, greed and fear mechanism, or also the supply and demand mechanism. So if we talked about that, we can also discuss something about this algo stable coins, as Robert mentioned, the Luna. So they kind of created a different mechanism where they don't peg any assets with the coin.
Mm.
How their mechanism work, they kind of created a supply of the stable coin, and they play with the supply and demand. So basically, if you see like, the price start dropping, like people start selling their stable, the Luma stable coin. So what they're gonna do, this they can see like the demand is decreasing and supply is increasing, so they start burning the token. So the supply remains constant and the price is stabilized. And if they see like the demand increases, so they start minting that. So a complex algo work there, so that's why they call algo stable coins. And we'll talk about that on the next slides. So as I said, like there are four type of stable coins. First, we talk about the fiat one, USDT and USDC, which holds the still holds the major market cap. Second one is crypto backed, and they are decentralized, not handled by any central authority. There's a community, and they governed by decentralized autonomous organization, and that is the top one of them. Now there are also some stable coin called commodity backed, let's say precious metal like gold, silver. So we call it like there is a ether gold. So they are packed with these metals. And the fourth one is this algorithmic stable coin, as I discussed, maintain their peg using a smart contract that algorithmically control supply and demand. So these smart contracts are controlling the supply and demand uh, people don't need to be, or this token don't need to be packed with the fiat currencies. They don't need to be, worry about the regulation, because if you are not interacting with the outer world, no one can, censor that. So that's the four type of stable coins right now in the market.
Quick question, Upendra. I see that most of stablecoin that that you show on screen is pegged by to the US dollars. Are there any stablecoin that follow other currencies like yen, euro, pound, something like that?
Yeah, so let me clear it again. Like, initially, they all these stablecoin I talked about, yeah, like let's suppose USDT, they used to peg 100% with the US dollar, but now they also, pegged with not only the US dollar, they holding the reserve of the traditional currencies. So this
Hmm.
traditional currency could be US dollar or euro or yen, any currencies, and there are also some, stable coin particularly pegged with the euros.
Hmm.
So there are also stable coin currently in the market right now. But these stable coin which contains the major market share, they pegged with all major, assets, not only the currencies, also with the, government bonds and all, the stable one. And
Hmm.
if we talk, if we I think we already discussed all the differences between all these.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also, it depends a bit on the jurisdiction, whether or not you're allowed to issue one. I think a good,
Okay.
good example of a centrally minted one was going to be Libra, officially
Hmm.
originally developed by as a project by Facebook, now Meta,
Okay.
which got a lot of backlash because it could potentially disturb the um, position of the dollar. That was the initial take back then. And you see now that because of the Genius Act, there's a form of legitimization to issue stablecoins specifically tied to the dollar, because it also uh, strengthens that position as a world reserve currency. Recently, the policies have opened up in other countries, like for instance Japan. The past weeks or months, the first
Hmm.
Yeah,
digital yen was released.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, so this could become the alternative to make crypto or crypto applications or decentralized applications directly available for users on blockchain.
I see.
I actually developed one. Well, my team we developed one as a part of a project we were building in 2016, the Euro stablecoin back then.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That was the perfect timing, I say.
Yeah, but it wasn't our main project. It was just a side, a portion of it, of the actual service that we're building back then.
Yeah. Now, like, if we talk about the major stable coins and differences between them, we already discussed. Like, the major difference is how they are backing. So USDT back fiat plus like liquid assets, mainly treasuries. But USDC back also, they back fiat and treasuries and cashes. So backing are similar here, and DAI over collateralized crypto. If we talk about the centralization, so both of them are centralized, but DAI is decentralized. And here the major difference between USDT and USDC comes like transparency. So the transparency in USDT is limited. It's quarterly assurance report, passed by them, and no full audit reports comes from them. Like, but talking about USDC, they are making major role for their, investors and the person who is holding, and they are kind of, their transparency is really high. Monthly big four attestation are done here, and all the reports are published. So like, the person who is holding USDC, they can be assured like it's backed, and the real fiat currency is in some accounts. And DAI, anyone can go and check anytime if, like, they how much collateralized asset they have. If we I forget the name of the website, we can also see, like, let's let Let me just Google it. Die. Okay. Okay. I think I missed it. Okay. Never mind. If you talk about another differences, market share, we already discussed 70% is currently of USDT. If we talk about compliance, fined by regulators, lower compliance focus. Yeah, so USDT once fined by the regulator, so it's fined by the regulator. Regulation first, institutional friendly. So USDC is institutional friendly. Key risk reserves doubt. So there is a more risk on the USDT and highlights. So USDT is kind of pioneer, most liquid global adoption. Talking about USDC, it's trusted, transparent, and institutional adoption. So, and talking about the DAI, it's fully decentralized and censorship resistance. As I discussed, all the regulations we are talking about is on the centralized stable coins. But if we talk about the decentralized one, like DAI, no regulation can be put on there. They are censorship resistance because they completely run on the blockchain. So that's the major important point. We already discussed about the differences between central and decentralized and algorithmic. We kind of discussed four type of them. There is a few points on three of them which are major here, and which have major differences. So we already have discussed that. Now if we talk about the power of privacy, so how we can make a private stable coin and why we need that, like if we really need a private stable coin and or not. So talking about the privacy, so this is possible to create a private stable coin on the COTI network. It can hide a sensitive transaction detail by using advanced cryptographic techniques. So if you are making any transaction using any stable coin currently in the market, anyone can go and track all the information. There are sensitive information, and yeah, these are sensitive information because this is the information about your financial transactions, and financial transactions are always sensitive. So through private stable coin on the COTI, you can, you know, you can stop that. And if you talk about confidentiality by design, so COTI blockchain have a proper confidentiality layer, secured by garble circuit, it's kind of fast, and it provides all the functionalities like making calculation on the private data, storing private data, everything is possible on the COTI. So confidentiality by design is on the COTI, and through the transaction data can be hidden, prevented financial detent from the beginning, from the public. And this can, like, maybe the retail investor or retail user don't feel like that, but if you talk about the enterprises, they need most of these functionalities. This They can make the private transaction or can make a huge, financial decision for their corporation, and their strategies can be hidden if they totally want to depend on the cryptocurrencies or a stable coin on the blockchain. They don't want to use the fiat, they can do it now using the stable coin or private stable coin, because their transaction detail can be private. So how, like, there may be some situation where we need to show our, like, our transaction detail. If someone wants to create a stable coin, with compliance proof, like for the regulators or some audit authorities. Like we want our user can go and see the audit reports. This is also possible on the COTI. You can create functionalities to showcase a partial functionalities where a user can define where they want to showcase their transaction detail. They can do that too. This is also possible on the COTI. And as I discussed, it's ideal for the enterprises. It's enable B2B payments and institutional settlement without exposing a company's financial health to competitors. So, talking about the scalability and cost, so the fee is very low in the Kodi and it's highly scalable. And the garbled circuit provides the encryption layer, which is very light and fast. So, this is great fit for the institutions. And it provides you the financial privacy, protects user and institution from public scrutiny and their financial activities. So if you are also a user, a simple user, retail investor, and you want to make some DeFi decision, some trade decision, you want your trading strategies to be hidden, you can do that using the private stablecoin.
Yeah, because if their transaction is visible on chain, people can act on it and try to intercept, as in by intercept the price, let's say, to drive it up just before you, for instance.
Yeah, and we already have seen some attacks in the market right now, like in the traditional market, like the MEV attack. And so anyone can go in the meme pool and check out your transaction, predict the price fluctuation, and can front run your positions, and you come up with the loss and they can make some margin profit there. So there are so many attacks going in the market. This can also be you know not possible using the private.
For non-crypto users, it's similar to a report being leaked with a profit warning for a publicly listed company whose stock prices immediately jump, fall. And based on that, people trade beforehand. Yeah.
And for the simple user, they can imagine their bank statement publicly available on their social media account. Anyone can go and check the bank statement. How, like, I can't imagine that happening to me. Currently, we are not using completely cryptocurrencies. We are maintaining our account in the fiat. And, but if someone wants to switch completely on the cryptocurrencies, on the web3, on the blockchain, they want to hold all their assets on the whole blockchain, they need it to be protected and private. They don't need like anyone can come and scrutiny that and make a decision according to their financial condition. They can come and anytime can come and check how much money this man have. We need to target him or not. So that's also possible using the COTI. You can make it private.
Yeah, exactly. So, in my perception, personally, the lack of privacy on public chains and lack of anonymity as well was a design flaw, simply.
Yeah.
Initially.
So now, if we're talking about the development of the stable coin, we can easily get the smart contract these stable currencies currently using. We can go on the Ethereum Etherscan and check the smart contract. So if you guys can see, uh, if we see the contract, put the contract address in the scanner, it gives you the contract button. Over here, you can see the full contract of the stable coin, the most famous USDT. And if you want to know all the functionalities it have, so you can go and read the contract. So these are the function. You can go and check out the different things which are stored in the contracts right now. Talking about the name of the currency, so it's Tether USD. Is it depreciated? So it shows like they have built in the functionality, like they can depreciate a contract to switch to the other one in case of some problem. But it's not depreciated, it's currently active. And we can also see like within 24 hours there has been 5 lakhs of transaction,
Hmm.
and altogether total there was like point 0.3 billions of transactions.
Hmm.
So they are active, it shows like. And there are other functionalities. You can check the total supplies. Basically you are reading all this thing from the contract. This total supply shows a big amount, a big number, but it also have a decimal, so we need to remove the 6 decimals from here, so we can also check how many decimals they have. You can directly check your balance from here. So if you want to create a stable coin, you can
Hmm.
understand the functionalities by checking over there. They also have
Ah.
some executable functionalities, like if the owner wants to differentiate that. I cannot. If I try to call this function, I don't have like, I can try. I can connect the MetaMask wallet.
It would be a world premiere if you would deprecate it right now live.
We'll get millions of wheels in here from here.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'm connected. I have the authority to depreciate it, that like I just need to click this button, but I'm not going to click this button for the
Hmm.
humanity. Like I know so many my brothers and sisters are holding this currency. I don't want to do that. Okay. So
Your humility phases me.
yeah, I'm saving the Web3 community. Yeah. So if even I try to do that, I also don't have this, current currently I don't have gas fees in my wallet. That's why I'm not clicking it, because it's on the Ethereum mainnet, and I need to add a address here, because before depreciating this address, I need to add a new address. Like I can like I cannot do that. Who can do that? Before that, let me show you. There is a transfer of ownership. So there is a owner of this contract. That's what I said. Like these currencies are centralized. There is a owner who can make all the decision. They can come click this button with their wallet, and they can make any decision over here. So that's what the centralization means here. So this owner has his authority to add another address. So if some person come and use this contract in the future, they will their transaction will be switched to that contract, new contract. And maybe it never happened, but maybe it can happen in the future or something. Like they have created this functionality, so you can take an idea from this stable coin how you want to design your smart contract. Because if they are creating some functionalities, maybe these functionalities are really important. And there are functionalities like approve, add blacklist. They have that blacklist user functionalities. I can remember if a person wanted to launch a ERC20 token, and these there are so many audit bots. They uh, raise a red flag if someone have these blacklist functionalities. But
Hmm.
USDT have that, and that's for good, I guess. Like if someone has taken some amount of scammed someone, and somehow they get a huge amount of USDT, they can ban that person, so he will not be able to use that in the future. And there is this transfer form functionalities in normal ERC20. So if you can check these functionalities, most of the functionalities are normally ERC20 token, because this is a fungible token smart contract. But they have added some extra functionalities to manage the stable coin, and that's what we are discussing here. They also have a pause and unpause functionality to deal with any you know fraudulent activity or any uncertain activities. So they can pause the stable coin contract. So in future, if they pause it, you cannot able to transfer it to anyone. So you cannot able to sell it. You wanna hold it, but you cannot sell it. There's a transfer function to transfer normally to anyone. And there are some issues. So if now, that's what I'm talking about. anytime they come up with an idea to mint more token, like to increase the supply, they can increase the supply, but for that they need to peg similar amount of assets. Stable currency is traditional asset in the bank account, and they need to show it in the report. There should be some proper mechanism. And then they come here and put the amount. Let's I'm going to increase the supply of the USDT, giving you Robert 1000 USDT. uh, Actually, it don't give me the option of the receiver. Okay, so if I'm going to mint it, it's going to them, I guess. And write, if I'm going to write it, it will issue a new bunch amount of USDT in the market. So
But you cannot execute as long as you're not the owner, I assume.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a,
If I
yeah,
try to,
okay.
I can get the gas fees error. Yeah, it says like you don't have the gas fees, which is $163 a use. But
We believe you. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but otherwise, I would be able to do that. Yeah, believe me. So now, if you want to create your stable coin, you can go and copy this contract, deploy this contract, make yourself the owner, pack that amount of currency, make a community who believes on you, like you have packed that amount of currency in the bank account, or you showcase them the report, hire a authority to audit that report. Then they gonna be believing you, like, yeah, this is a stable coin, we can buy it, we can hold it, because it's legitimate and it has the backing, proper backing. So you can create anytime. And we also have a good analytic tool here on the etherscan. It shows you the streak, like the GitHub, how many pushes you do daily. But here it shows the how good this token is, like if it's active daily. So it's kind of shows the biggest streak of 7 years to 36 days. Everyone is transferring it daily, so there is always a activity around that. And as you can see this graph, the more darker is, the more volatile market was there, I guess. So these are the huge transactions happening here. And it also shows like the age of this contract. It's about 7 years, approximately 8 years. It was launched on 28th November 2017, and the longest streak is to 7 years to. So it's been active approximately whole of its life.
Mm.
I think in the starting maybe some inactive days. So there are analytics, and also you can check the holders. Here comes the Binance. The hot wallet is holding the max supply. It's holding 20% in a wallet, 8% another wallet. Here it comes so many Binance wallets. So I think like more than 30% of them is held by the Binance hot wallet. So you can also see a point of centralization here, a different centralized point. And you can also like that's why I'm showing you guys all this. You can already always go and check all these before you want to create your stable coin. These are analytics you can check with the currently most active stable coins right now. It kind of shows the graph handed holders, like uh, it says like handed holders hold 64% of the supply right now here, and the major holders here. So now let's come to the development. Moving on. So what we can do, we can go and copy this contract, and let me find a AI tool. I'll select cursor again.
You would be copying the contract, but it means also copying any potential
Mm.
mishaps in there. Of course, after 7 years, you hope it's been properly audited enough to not have any. Most likely, it has been audited very well. But still, if you copy any public contract
Yeah,
directly, you're open to its own failures as well.
yeah, you can say that. So we will do that only for learning purpose here. And if you guys go, feel free, you can use it if you believe on me. Like I have packed the stable the traditional currency in my bank account. Let me create a folder, stable coin. I think my cursor window is not visible here. Or if you're talking about the trust, we can use the Claude here, Claude
Hmm.
browser version, to check if any problem we can face if we are using this contract. So let me open the cross browser. Which screen currently visible right now? Can you tell me?
Sorry.
Your green browser with Claude
Yes.
open. Good evening, it says.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask Claude. I'm provide you current USDT contract, analyze that, and explain me if I'm a beginner how I can launch my own stable coin. Let's see if
Ooh.
Claude suggests me something. So it says like how it works. Core functionalities, ERC20 standard. It should be possible. It should have blacklist functionality. It should be upgradable. Fee system should be there. So this contract also have the fee system. I think we missed that. If they charge some fees for the transfer, I think they use this fee system in the starting, but currently, if we try to read if they have any fees,
Hmm.
not on the USDC, USDT. Yeah, they have this max fee. So they reduce their maximum fees to zero.
Hmm.
So there's no fee right now, but they have the fee system in the contract. You can utilize that. They also had the functionality to make it zero in the future, so they made it zero. But to support a project in the starting, usually people add some fees there. Now let's check. It should be upgradable. There should be fee system, and how we can do that? How can launch a stable coin? So you need to understand the basic smart contract token standard stable mechanism. Like so, you need to know how to code that, but we have the AI to do that. You need to have the language, learn the language like Solidity. For here you need to understand the standard. I think we need to know that, like what this ERC20 standard do to suggest the AI tool to build a proper contract for me. Then you should understand the stablecoin mechanism, how we peg the currency, how this regulation works. So this mechanism you should need to know. It also says like you need to choose the mechanism you want to follow. There's a fiat collateral, crypto collateral, algo. So you can figure out which one you want to follow. Let's suppose we are going for the traditional method with the you know bank account, back each token with the real USD in the bank account, require banking relation and regulator audits, and most trusted but require significant capital and compliance. So this is are the requirement. If you moving forward development process, learn Solidity, start simple ERC20 token, security first, get professional audits. It also says the price, and then for the legal compliance, register for money service business, comply with the security regulation, implement KYC,
Mm.
get proper banking relation, consider regulatory sandbox program. So all these you need to do. So now we have done that. We have added the fund in the bank and we have all this registration and all. Now the step how we can launch it: launch a MVP development for 3 and 6 months, get funding, build infrastructure and all. I think, and it also told about the risks for the beginner. Okay, consider alternatives. So we already have discussed all these. We wanted to know the core features, so these are the core feature, I guess. If it's visible, you guys, these are the core feature of the contract we need to know. All other mechanisms are for the web 2 or the banking system and all, regulation and all, but the core functionality of the contract we wanted to know, it should follow the standard ERC20 token. It should be possible, blacklistable, upgradable fee system, and should have mint and burn functionality in case we want to create another lot or issue some more tokens. Now it's also giving me a contract here, because earlier the contract we have asked it, it didn't have, it was using a very old contract which was in the 2017. But now it suggested me use the current libraries of OpenZeppelin, which is more secure. So it provided me ERC20 standard library, a ownable library, or possible library. So we need to have to issue the asset. We need to have the owner access. And if we going to code everything, the ownable feature, the access control by ourselves, it may have involve or it may involve some risk. So we gonna using the OpenGPL library of the ownable and then the possible. It implemented all the functionalities we needed, like in the constructor put the name, symbol and initial supply, and then also blacklist functionality, then the transfer functionality, which is basic. But the main functionality like mint, the burn, can only done by the owner. Okay, so all this functionality only handled by the owner, so it's safe. And it also added the 6 decimal. So I think we have a perfect contract right now of a
Mm.
stable coin. We can directly copy it and go use our remix. So we have some visibility over here. Stable coin.sol, added the contract over here. It says it has issue with the compiler version. Let's try to add 20 here. It also have some issues. Okay, so it says like no argument. There are some issues with the constructor. Okay, Claude has given me the contract with some issues,
Mm.
and in the constructor it asked me to initiate the owner, and we are not doing here. We can fix that, or we can ask Claude to do that for us. We need to just add a constructor, but as like it's for the beginner, let's Claude fix it.
That's like an extra minute, right? Ish.
Yeah. Let's check how it fix it. Like, yeah. So as you can see in the initial contract, we don't have
Hmm.
this ownable
Honorable.
constructor call. If we go and just put it, let's just check like if this was the only issue. Okay, it's compiled now.
Oh,
So we fix the issue. Now let's try to deploy our stable coin, which is not private, but let's suppose we need to deploy it on the COTI. We're going to connect the MetaMask. It's currently connected to the Sepolia.
hmm.
Let's change it to the COTI in the custom. We have COTI testnet token over here. Try to connect again.
Sepolia.
Let's just connect it and try to connect again.
So, what will be your collateral, Upendra?
Uh, Collateral, yeah. I think my community trusts me. They believe me. I have some asset, a very important assets of my uh, NFTs, which are built of my images I have taken in my trips. That's going to be collateral, which makes it quite decentralized.
Strong credit.
Yeah.
First edition Upendra punks. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about you guys, what collateral you select if you are launching a stablecoin?
Um,
Well, I believe in uh, truly in how to say that uninflatable uh, objects, as in that's what I like about Bitcoin. That's one side of it. So I would choose land.
Okay.
There's a finite amount of land.
hmm.
Yeah. And
Mine would be U.S. Treasury.
okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be my stable USDT, the symbol. And let's put initial supply. So if you see here the constructor, the initial supply I'm giving here is going to the exact supply and it's multiplying it with the decimal. So we don't need to worry about the decimal. And I'm launching 1 million of them initially. Yeah, 1 million of them.
Ooh, wow.
Let's see.
Is that the recurring problem that it's too cheap to set a high expectation for gas fees and therefore underestimates it and it gets locked up?
Yeah. So I think we need to use the right method, the COTI plugin.
Okay, what are
So
we looking at here, Upendra?
we are trying to create a stable coin on the COTI for now,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a issue with the remix. I need to close it again and then start the remix again. It comes with a remix. If you face such issue with the remix with the COTI plugin, what you need to do, you need to close the browser again and start again. What we can do also, because I don't want to close a browser, otherwise my stream window also closes. We can
Mm-hmm.
use Claude. We're gonna copy this contract and ask cursor. Let's suppose. Let me create the contract folder here.
Okay, so you're asking cursor to detect the error and let it fix it, right?
No, like I'm going to ask the cursor to. It don't have any error because it's compiled fine. I'm going to
Okay.
ask the cursor to deploy it for me on the COTI.
Ah, I see.
So I'll be mentioning this file. Deploy this file on COTI blockchain using COTI hard hat template. I can also, give some resource to make it quick. So I'm referencing some documentation of the hard hat project on the COTI.
And maybe reference also mention if it's on testnet or not.
Yeah. COTI blockchain testnet. Okay. Let's just wait for the cursor. Okay, as the cursor is building it, we can also talk about the private stablecoin. So, if you talk about the basic functionalities, so here Claude explain it all. Where is the Claude? Yeah, the basic functionalities we need. It's kind of in the contract is the ERC20 standard. So
Hmm.
we already have the private ERC20 standard from the COTI. What changes we're gonna need? We need to import the COTI private ERC20 standard here, over here. For the ownership, we can use the OpenJPlane ownership library, and for the possible, we can directly use the possible library, and we can also add this blacklist and all these functionalities directly. Okay, we don't need to uh, make much changes, but what things we need, what we want user to have private, the major thing is transfer functionality. So if you are a beginner or if you are building a stable coin using the COTI, the
Hmm.
transfer functionality is itself managed by the ERC20 library of the COTI, the private ERC20 library. Let me just open it. COTI private token COTI. So here it's in the COTI documentation, it clearly says how you can create a common ERC20 token. So the private stable coin is going to be the similar normal private ERC20 token with some extra functionalities like the blacklist of the user and all. And so for now, what we can do, we can copy this private token and we can ask Claude to build a private stable coin for us. Or To give it a greater idea, we can directly share this link here. Let's see if Claude is able to build a private ERC20 token or private stablecoin. I need
That'd
to
be interesting.
convert this stable coin to. Let's see if Claude can suggest us something.
Oh, so Claude actually picks up what's inside the link and kind of analyze it through.
Yeah, as you can see, like it says fetching this link. So I'll help you convert the stable coin to the private one using the COTI private token functionality. Let me first fetch the COTI documentation. So it's kind of
Hmm.
pitching the link, and from the link, he needs to understand that MPC libraries types. So it's trying to fetch these types too, and now it's updating the contract with the private stablecoin functionalities. So if we start from the beginning, it picked the right library, private ERC20 library instead of normal ERC20 library. It also picked the MPC core library by itself because to make some blacklist and private decisions, user need to have the understanding or access of this private
Hmm.
this MPC core libraries because handle all the private type. Okay, it's updated the code now, providing me the guidance. Deployment guide it's providing as I ask it like I'm a beginner. So it says like it has the privacy enhancing features. The balance is encrypted. Your transfer is going to be private. Fees you are adding is going to be confidential. Maybe I don't want that. I want my users to know how much fees I'm deducting, so I can make this
Okay,
too using the quote. That's not a big
so
deal.
that adds to the transparency.
Yeah, so it kind of provided you all the functionalities
Mhm.
because you are non-coder, but still it needs decision from your end in your projects what functionality you want, private or not. So it's kind of brief introduction, a brief explanation of all the functionalities. You can go and decide. Like we decided here, we don't want this confidential fees. It says like it's providing you the selective disclosure. User can decrypt their own balance allowance. Yeah, that's what needed. And there is a security and control feature like blacklist, possible fee system, mint burn, destroy blacklist funds. Okay, it's go ahead and kind of added a functionality of destroy the blacklisted fund. That's
Hmm.
that's rude. Why are you
But
destroying the
it
fund?
sounds quite compliant.
Yeah, maybe yeah. It can also create a project quite differential. Like user can know, like owner are not just taking the blacklisted fund for themselves; they are destroying it. Okay, it explains the type and how you can deploy it, providing the proper configuration of hard hat, the COTI testnet RPCs and all. A good content and I guess a good context. Owner functionalities and all these. Let's just check how our cursor is behaving right now. What it's done. It's created the hard hat functionalities project, hard hat project. installed it, compiled it, run the test cases. Now it says all these functionalities are ready to do. You need to add the environment file, also added one. I need to add the private key here. That's it. We need to add the private key here. It's also named the stablecoin COTI stablecoin and CUSDC. Didn't ask me what name I want for my stablecoin. And it also added the contract feature and all. So let me add the private key here.
Hmm.
I can get the private key from my previous projects.
May I suggest USD Upendra?
I agree on this one. Yeah.
Let's quickly pick this one and paste it here. Added private key. Now go and deploy. Okay, my private key is not right. Oh, let me fix it. Fixed. Now deploy. It always bumped it. Pending block issue. Yes, trying to fix it by itself, like adding the manual gas setting. That's I ask it to do all the time. I forget to add it in the prompts. So it's trying to figure it out by itself and try to build it for us.
But if I recall, it succeeded in previous times, right?
Yeah. Let me ask it. Deploy on testnet with extra fixed gas. So while trying it, try to deploy it on the DAPnet. I don't wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guided it to, use manual fee. While we can also create another file for the private stablecoin. This is the contract. Copy it. And we can also try to create, just to verify if it's compiling right or not, on the remix. It says it have many issues. So with the open Zeppelin. Okay. We can ask these issues.
Wait, with the standard libraries, the ones you can provide from
Yeah.
OpenZip.
Yeah, it's issues, I guess, due to the different versions. But we can still ask to the Claude. Let's check on the COTI if we got any transaction. There are no transaction. There are no any current transaction. So uh, why it's waiting? Proper gas limit with high gas. I think it's provided a very less gas. So we can also, try to figure it out from the Koti doc to give a proper context here. Failing testnet transaction ending wrong. You can also
So I think this demonstrates why it's good to have multiple resources at your disposal to try different engines, and in this case, the one from COTI as well, in our case.
Yeah, let's see if like it's able to figure it out by itself or not. It's trying with a higher gas limit. It should.
So, general question: what exactly is gas, and why do we have to pay it?
Yeah. So gas is it's kind of economy for a blockchain to run. As blockchain is a decentralized ecosystem, why would any node comes involved in an ecosystem make a transaction on behalf of you, run a you know a,
Mm,
a complete server, or run a complete server for to run node to make it decentralized. So everyone who is doing that, they need some rewards for that. So that's
mm,
why any blockchain, which anyone who launched this blockchain, a public blockchain, they create a tokenomics for them, which kind of economics for that blockchain ecosystem with the tokens of with the native token. Like for the Ethereum there is a ETH, for the COTI there's COTI.
mm,
So whoever the validators, all the nodes who are running, they can provide some rewards to them to run these nodes to make the system
mm,
self-sustain. And you to use this blockchain, you need to pay some gas or some you know currency to use that. That's why the gas come into the knowledge.
Yeah,
okay.
it's also a spam protection, because if everyone
Mm,
could use it for free, you would get all free transactions with ads or whatever being sent.
I see. That makes sense. So it's kind of like payment for someone who's doing work.
Yeah. Let me just try to guide our cursor. uh it stops here. Use fixed gas fee in deploy and script. And we can also go and check the scripts. While it's working, let's see if okay, cloud wants me to upgrade. That's the problem with the cloud. Like, you get only 2 or 3 messages a day.
Are you saying you cannot create a stablecoin for free? Is there not enough tries for that?
We're creating stablecoin by using a gas fee of an unstable coin. You see the irony?
So what are you going through right now, Upendra? We're looking
Yeah.
at templates.
Yeah. So it's facing to create the deployment script here. So I kind of going to give it a proper, you know, a template so that it can understand from here, because we need to provide a more context so that it can understand it and create a proper deployment script for it. So I'm asking it like, there is issue with deployment script, use COTI hard hat template. We have seen this in like more of our live stream, cursor face issue with the this pending block issue, and sometimes it kind of figure out by itself directly. Sometimes it keep in the loop of hallucinating, and I don't know how to solve this problem. So this is the loop it's facing again. And as we can see, I'm using the Claude Sonnet premium model. This key facing the pending block issue again. Let me provide it example.
In the meantime, if you do think about creating your own stablecoin like we're trying out today, if you intend to make it your project, first definitely check local regulations, of course, what kind of policies you should adhere to, or what kind of oversight you should take into account. Even if you're creating a fully decentralized one, because you can still be held accountable when publishing it in your jurisdiction, depending on local laws, of course. So be aware of that.
Meanwhile, what I can do, I can ask Claude to do that for me. Let me. I have opened a lot of windows. Let me close them.
So you're deploying now again on Claude.
Yeah, so I'm going to directly use the Claude now. Maybe the cursor got stuck somewhere. So like we can try and test another contract over there. We can use two tools so that it saves our time.
So we almost have a stablecoin. All we're lacking is stable development.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need a coffee, guys.
I'm asking it again and also want to check the permissions.
So theoretically, if cursor would be using the same model, assuming here it's locked into Claude,
Yeah,
then there should be no difference, right?
that's what I'm testing here. Because it also depends on the tool, like how they are constructing the uh, context of the project.
Fair, fair.
Meanwhile, we can also try again our third method, whichever can work. Let me close this remix again. Try to figure out if it can deploy it right now. It's connected to the wallet. Compiler is working fine. Let's try again.
I will have to say that there, for me, there is a hard stop somewhere today,
Hmm.
just to make sure I catch the flight towards East Tokyo.
Okay.
Oh,
But that's just me in this case. So I'm hoping, of course, to see the beauty of our
stablecoin.
USDU coin online. Yeah.
USDU coin. I like that.
Okay, so I remove the cookies of the remix. Where it goes? Let me open. Okay, I need to install the plugins. I removed the COTI plugin.
Were there any issues? What was the reason you removed it for the viewer?
Yeah, it happens. Like if you are getting this error again and again, you need to, refresh the your remix completely. Or then you need to connect your wallet again. Let's first try on the Sapolia.
MetaMask. Do we seem to be having an issue with the gas fee again?
Not here because it manages it by itself.
Okay.
It happens with the COTI testnet. You need to provide the fixed gas fee,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use a COTI mainnet also. So it's working fine on the Ethereum testnet deployed there. It's because like Remix is currently working fine over with that, and you can see like if we check if it's paused. Okay, I'm trying to pause it. No, I don't want to pause it. Track the name, stablecoin owner. I'm the owner. So this is my account. I'm the owner. We can check the symbol. I put the total supply. So it's working on the Ethereum side. Should be similarly working with the COTI. Just my cursor is not behaving right today.
So if it's working on Ethereum, that means that that would be the non-private version.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
not private version because Ethereum will not be able to understand the private version. We can deploy it there, but it will not be able to work with it.
Because for this example, were you generating a version supporting the privacy features of COTI?
Yeah, I kind of created two smart contract. One was for the basic one without the private version, and one with the private functionalities. So as I'm testing to for the deployment, so I tried to test like if there's a issue with the contract. So the simple contract I try to test it with the Ethereum testnet first. Now I'm going to try again to deploy with the COTI. It's connected here. Let's just onboard it. Let's see it work. Okay, so when it comes to the deployment on the COTI, Remix is still giving this issue, but it happens with the Remix. That's why we always select to deploy with the hard hat. But today we kind of face the issue with the hard hat too. As I can see, Claude is also taking so much time. It's like
Mm.
giving me the whole structure over here, but didn't create any folder right now. I was
Hmm.
expecting it to go and create the whole folder within a go. It's kind of creating the plan.
Is there a reason behind why it's so time consuming?
The first reason we face here is like I'm using the testnet, and
Hmm.
our AI tool is not kind of trying to not able to figure out how to deal with there is a issue with the testnet,
Hmm.
that the pending block. So maybe this tool is facing issue with the latency of the node. Currently the node we are trying to connect is giving it the issue currently, and is trying to figure out the fees, how much we need to pay there, and it's kind of facing issue over there. So as we can see, the contract, the simple one was, we were able to deploy it on the remix. Let me show you again on the remix. But when it comes to the COTI testnet, kind of facing some issue. I currently don't have the mainnet token, or we could have tried it on the COTI mainnet. Maybe that going kind of deployed here. But yeah, if you can see the contract over here, or the main contract, so we have the normal stable one, or we have the private one. So Claude has created the contract with the functionalities we have discussed, and it's kind of currently able to compile it, facing with the deployment issue. But yeah, these all the functionality we one person need to have in their mind to
I
while creating the contract. And if we, that's all the requirements.
see.
Here, Claude also provided us the brief overview how can someone implement it. So it's kind of a beginner friendly guide to deploy it. Here is a guide to deploy it, and also a guide over here. Let me just open it. Yeah, what all the functionalities a stablecoin need. And if we see about a template again, it is gone. I think I closed it. Let me open it again. Yeah, so we talk about the privacy features,
Hmm.
and now let's talk about the conclusion, what we have learned from it. So, uh, stablecoins are cornerstone for digital finance, as we have discussed. Like it's really important for the DeFi growth and inclusion, and it's mainly the future of the stablecoin is on the decentralization and transparency. If it's going to be packed uh, with the fiat, or someone is using a bank account to hold the currency, it should be transparent and audited regularly, and it should have the regulation clarity. And there are some regulation like Robert talk about the new regulation, the gen the Genius Act something.
Yep.
uh, it's our building on the is for the stable coin. So like creating the contract is not a difficult part, as we
Hmm.
know. Like the Claude has created both the contract with simple prompt and some context. We struggle with the deployment on the COTI testnet, but if we had the mainnet, it has been finished within an half hour. So the creating of the smart contract is not the difficult part. The creation of this, this regulation, and the pegging with the currencies, making the price stable, and creating a community over there, which believes that you are holding that, or you can create a decentralized one. That's the important part, and you need to have the understanding of all the regulation and all. And if we have, we try to cover all the types of the stable coin, like the USDT and USDC. That's the major uh, market cap holders. About 90% are DAI, which holds about 10%, and the algorithmic models, which are new and
Mhm.
currently really high risk, but they are growing, and the market capitalization is not much. They don't hold much, but yeah, they are growing with the time. So I think that's all for the stablecoin for the today. And if you guys have any question, or we have any question from the viewers.
Right now, I think it's pretty stable.
No, I think it only that you talk. Thank you for taking us through it today, but I think it only increases the need for an actual private stablecoin, given the adoption rate and the amount of it in circulation, as you can see it, and the way it powers a part of the ecosystem. And it should be private by default. So I'm really looking forward to which one will take the market on this, or if Tether and Circle eventually will upgrade, or if we will start adopting central bank digital created currencies, which will become the stable coins in circulation, perhaps competing out these commercial initiatives. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the best coin for the pegging, I guess,
Yeah,
CBDCs.
fantastic way to put it.
Yeah, they're basically pegging themselves. So,
Yeah.
I mean, central banks should have gold in reserve
Yeah.
to back up themselves. Yeah, that's the idea.
Yep. Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you, Upendra and Robert, for an insightful session today. To everyone who's watching, I hope this gives you a clear, beginner-friendly of what stablecoin looks like. And if you have any question, make sure to drop them in the comment section below and keep the conversation going. Before you go, make sure to visit stay.coti.io. And don't forget to subscribe to COTI Foundation, like, share, and comment. And thank you today for joining our session, and we'll see you again next session. Stay COTI.